Relax and take some copious notes as we provide you with some awesome solutions to your financial matters. Invite your friends and family to join us. And if you're watching this live, like, tag, share. Sharing is caring. I am Chenauda Harris, your financial specialist, offering solutions to your financial matters. Thanks so much. Welcome back to Let's Fix It with Chenauda. Sit back, relax, and take some copious notes as we provide you with some awesome solutions to your financial matters. Invite your friends, family to join us. And if you're watching us live via Facebook, like, tag, share. Sharing is caring. I am Chenauda Harris, your financial specialist, offering solutions to your financial matters. I am totally moved by the peaceful protest here in the metropolitan Detroit area over the last 13 days since the unfortunate death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota on Memorial Day. So I see many leaders in our community trying to unify people of all races together for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I can honestly say I commend these young people for stepping up to lead the charge for this historical movement for necessary change. To Mayor Mike Duggan and to Chief Craig for their outstanding leadership to keep the peace and people safe. Thank you for your leadership. We still have a lot of work to do, which leads me to my special guest today in the studio. We have, the owner of Motorcity Popcorn, and I know I'm going to mess your first name up, but go ahead and say it for me.
Ronier.
Ronier from
Yes.
Motorcity Popcorn, and he goes by Sean Combs on Facebook, but that's a whole nother story. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on?
I am super excited to have you here with us on Worship Radio International and the Let's Fix It with Chenauda show. So tell us a little bit about you and Motorcity Popcorn.
Well, I started Motorcity Popcorn in 2012. Okay. And actually, the date I started is July 1st. So we're going on 8 years. So it was, for me, I had always wanted to open a restaurant. When I was like, early 90s or so, I worked at various restaurants and I worked different positions. So I always felt that I, knew how to run a restaurant. So it was a little different, of course, once you actually get the business. Right. So, and actually the idea became, I was actually in Chicago, this was 2011, and I came across Garrett's Popcorn. So, they had like a line of people stretched down the block.
Always. So,
everybody I was with, we had free time, so we stood in line and stood outside for 30 minutes just to get some popcorn. So when everybody else was like real hype, like, oh, we're getting some popcorn, I started counting the people in line. And I'm like, okay, this. And you get inside, you pay $7 a bag. So we're going back to the hotel and everybody's eating their popcorn. And I'm just counting numbers. I'm like, well, there was this many people at $7 a bag and this. So I actually went back to Garrett's to try to talk to the people. And of course, the people that worked there didn't really have any idea because I wanted to know who's the manager, where's the owner, I need to talk to you, this. And I ended up calling them. And I was like, hey, do you guys franchise? So they said no. So I said, well, I'm just going to do my own. So that was the whole idea, was to have something in Detroit that had people down, lined up down the street for 30. Hopefully you don't wait 30 minutes, but they have that many people.
But back in the day, we used to have that popcorn store in Northland.
Otto's.
Yes. They had excellent popcorn because I used to work at Northland Mall and couldn't wait to go down there and get some warm butter popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
The Chicago mix. We'd snack on that for days on end in the office. I used to love that place.
Yeah.
So that was totally different. But I was glad when Garrett's did come, but then you were on the scene.
Yeah.
With Motorcity Popcorn.
Yeah, that was the idea, was, like I say, when I was, the original restaurant idea I had, would have been chicken and fish type stuff. And, I mean, you got a million of those already. Mm-hmm. So I figured, you don't have a lot of popcorn places. So, I mean, the idea wasn't because I love popcorn or anything like that. was really based on the numbers. It was based on the less competition, and it's a product that sells to a wide demographic. So that was the whole
Everybody
idea.
loves popcorn. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody.
That was the whole idea of
It's
why.
a great
to do
healthy
it.
snack.
Yeah. So I just started off on the stove at home, making batches. And I would go on Facebook and say, hey, I got this flavor for the week or this flavor, and people would come by the house or I would deliver. And so I started doing a few vendor events, getting out, and so I wanted to get in the auto show. It was around November or so, 2013. And so I called down to Kobo, hey, how do you get in the auto show? I told them my idea, and they said, well, bring us some samples, let us see. So I went down there with 2 bags just to try it. I sat in the lobby area. The guy went upstairs to the office. He came back and gave me a deal right there on the spot. Just shook my hand.
Wow.
And so I'm thinking just the auto show. I ended up getting a year contract for an actual store inside of Kobo. So at the time, of course, I'm still making it out the house. So I did lie. You know what I'm saying? So I had to make it that I was a little bigger than what I said I was. So I had to hurry up, like really, incorporate the business.
That's one of those fake it till you make it kind
yeah,
of things.
and
You had a vision, you had a plan, and you got somebody to buy into your dream and made it come true.
I had to get employees, I had to get insurance, I had to get equipment, and I had like a month or so to do it.
Amazing.
And we opened in Kobo maybe a week or so before the auto show of 2014.
And they probably flocked to it like crazy.
It was crazy. I didn't buy like big enough equipment. I mean, at the time I didn't know. So we literally, when we turned those machines on like at 9 a.m., like they never turned off. They went all day.
Because the aroma of popcorn.
Yeah.
That's just like when you walk in Target and you smell the popcorn. Where do you gravitate to? The concession stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now they've gotten even slick about it. They just started making kettle corn in there. So it even draws you in faster because of the sweet aroma of the popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So I could totally relate to that because I'm drawn to that. Just the smell of popcorn, I'm like, oh, I gotta have some. Gotta have some.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask some, not so much difficult questions, but let's jump right into this issue because last week I was discussing this whole issue about the Detroit Popcorn Company. Now, I want you guys to understand something. He is not the Detroit Popcorn Company.
Right.
He is Motorcity Popcorn, which is a total different situation, okay? So I want you to shed some light to our audience about what happened with that situation.
So basically, the owner of Detroit Popcorn, his name's Evan. So Evan basically made a post on Facebook that had a racial tone to it, and one person did a screenshot and just kept sharing and sharing, and it grew legs, and kind of really blew up. So for myself, yes, being Motorcity Popcorn, some people just didn't take a few seconds to look at the 2 separate names. Mm-hmm. So I started getting all of these like phone calls and texts and emails, well, not texts, but more so emails, inboxes, and people were cussing me out. I mean, really. People were really, really going off on me. And, at first it was cool. I would respond back, hey, it's not me. Hey, it's not me. Then it got to the point where, I can't lie. I'm starting to get a little tense because some of these people really was like digging. They was just like, I'm going to make sure that, you shut down and this. I'm like, ho, wait a minute.
So they were ready to shut you down and not even know all the facts before they did the legwork.
And when I tell you that I got a lot of people that called me with bad stuff. So I can only imagine what he would have got.
He got shut down immediately because
Yeah.
I just had to look myself. I was like, I know Facebook is not allowing this foolishness. So they had to like shut him down immediately for the racial tension that he had brought to the platform. But most importantly, I immediately, knowing that we had a company with great popcorn, I immediately went to publicizing how wonderful Motor City Popcorn was, because it was my intentions to bring light to our black owned businesses that are doing great things in our community. For those that don't want our business, I'm not doing business with you. I will not spend a dollar of my hard earned money in any establishment where I am not accepted. If you can't accept my brown skin, you can't accept my green dollar, is the way I look at it.
Exactly.
And I'm just real frank and honest about that. But most importantly, I wanted you to come on to the show because I definitely wanted to embrace you as an African American male who built his own business from the ground up from a dream. And these are the things that we tend to highlight here on our network because a lot of people tend to allow their dreams to die. They don't follow their dreams. They don't go after the hard things. They'll come up with, "Oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z," but don't follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have exemplified how to take your dream and make it come to fruition, even with starting out the way you started in your kitchen. That's phenomenal. So, talk about how this is going to change the trajectory of Motor City Popcorn going forward as you get ready to open Monday. Let's talk about that because that's going to bring about some excitement, and I'm certain it's going to have you probably with some sleepless nights ahead.
So I mean, yes. So the current location is located in Laurel Park Mall in Livonia. So of course, once the quarantine came, when the mall shut down, of course it forced for my store to close down. So I've been closed since March 10th, I believe, and still closed now. So when all the controversy started with the tray popcorn, I got a lot of bad calls, but I got even more good calls eventually, because now everybody wanted to support, a black-owned business. And not even just that, there were people who said, "I'm not spending money with the tray popcorn. Who else can we go to?" And I think, not just because of the name being singular, I think the different people I work with, the places I have my product, that excuse me, that my name was kind of popular amongst other popcorn businesses. So I started getting either people calling, "Hey, I want to open an account with you. Hey, I want you to service me now." So I started getting a million phone calls that people wanted to spend money. But my store was closed, So at one time my plan was June 20th, open up. I said, no, I gotta, do it faster. So there were just a few things I had to do before to open up. I couldn't just open that day. I had to take care of a few things to get back. So I set it at June 15th. That is the plan to reopen. I will have to be somewhat cautious. I mean, I won't have every flavor available.
How many flavors do you have?
Well, at one time I would carry up to 18.
Wow.
And I know we just to get everything going, get fast, I'm not going to do all 18 because some flavors, don't sell all the time.
So
barbecue.
Like your top 3 sellers would be what?
Cheese, caramel, and butter.
My favorite.
So you definitely have to have those.
Right.
And then I would say white cheddar and hot cheese.
Okay.
You have to have those. So long as you have cheese, caramel, and butter, then you get people that can mix them up if they want them single, if they want them mixed. But you have to have those 3 at all times. White cheddar is next, hot cheese is after that. As long as you have those 5, then you can pretty much satisfy a majority of your customers. You get a few that come in and want green apple, a few that come in that want jalapeno, but they don't come every day for that. But they do come every day with cheese, caramel, and butter.
Right. Okay. So you have I love it. You have a plan already mapped out as to when you open what the plan is going to be. So all of y'all that love y'all some popcorn, I need y'all to go to Laurel Park Mall in Livonia and check him out because he's going to have the popcorn all set, hot and ready. Now, you do have some popcorns in stores.
Yes. Now again, coming back, I have to restock all of my stores.
Okay.
Most of the stores, the shelf life on these, you can get, up to 2 to 3 months on some products. So some people have had product, for a while, but a lot of stores are sold out. So the first,
Because I know where I usually go. They been gone.
yeah. So the first order of business is to restock the stores. So now, when I make my announcement to the public about coming back June 15th, I do have to make
So y'all heard it here first.
right, but I do have to have a sidebar. The actual store in Laurel Park will only be open to the public till July 1st.
Wow.
Now, the reason is, just to be honest, mall traffic before coronavirus wasn't that great.
Right.
And mall traffic so far, the mall opened up, matter of fact, I think Thursday of last week. So, of course, mall traffic right now is like even worse. But the reason being is Motorcity Popcorn is moving to Detroit.
Yay! So you will then officially be in the city again. Where
Yes.
can we find you?
7 Mile west of Livernois.
7 Mile west of Livernois.
Yes.
Okay.
So, July 1st or even before, we have to go in and do the build out, kind of get everything together. So, I kind of need to be there as well in the beginning. So, I can't really sit in the store in Laurel Park all day. I need to get
But
7 miles.
at least you'll give us a trial run for a little bit so we can get some snacks. So that sounds like you probably need to get you some, stockpile it for a couple of weeks. Anyway.
Now, if people still want product, they can get it. They just have to place an order.
Okay.
So that's the thing. But as far as just like, hey, I'm driving, I want to go by Laurel Park, that probably won't anybody be there. You know what I'm saying? But if you actually reach out via social media or the website and you actually say out, I want to place an order, then you can
This
get it.
is really huge for Detroit for you to actually bring Motor City Popcorn back into the city. So that will probably help even grow your business a little bit bigger because with Laurel Park not really being a relevant mall like it used to be because the anchor stores are not there. That
Yeah.
probably had a lot to do with the
Yeah.
decision for you to move out of there. So I totally
Yeah.
understand that because I used to love to come shop at Carson's out there. That was like one of my favorite places
Yeah.
to hit up.
And as we come back from coronavirus, even more stores are not returning.
Mhm.
So the foot traffic is going to be even less. Just be honest.
Right.
So,
But I think, as we move forward, as the pandemic stipulations are lifted, a lot of the malls are not going to be the same that we knew them as. You see a lot of foot traffic in the stores that are like athletic wear. Those have lines on the outside because of the limitations of how many people are allowed in the stores at one time. However, I just don't think the mall situation of shopping the way we knew it is going to be the same after we come from under this season of change that we've experienced through this pandemic. So that's interesting. But I'm super excited for you to be able to bring your product back into the city of Detroit. And I definitely want you guys to support this business because it is relevant and it's very important that we are supporting black-owned businesses, not just because of the Black Lives Matter thing, but because he is an entrepreneur that built a business from the ground up, and that's a hard thing to do. and you know, we've got to support our own. I
Well,
think it's
yeah.
very, very important. And so, um, as we begin to close out, let's talk about how this whole George Floyd thing has impacted you as a black male in today's society. Um, how are you feeling about this whole scenario and the season that other businesses are jumping on the Black Lives Matter bandwagon? Because I have my own take about how I feel about that, but
I mean, on one hand, it's like on one hand, yeah, I appreciate it, but we got to see more than just words. That's the whole thing. Some of the people that have come out and said stuff, some of them I just would have never expected to, say something to that effect. I think it's that. I appreciate them saying it. I'm also looking to see what the action is. I'm not really impressed by just writing a check, because where does the check go to, and who's properly, moving the check.
I agree.
But the last thing is, now that we have everybody's attention, we as black people have to actually make some materialize. After all, it's like they cracked the door a little bit more for us. They haven't opened it up all the way, but they did crack the door open. We gotta find out, how do we actually walk through this? Because we can, all the protests and everything that's going on and on, but if we don't actually get together and say, this is really what we want, because I think that's the thing in the past with black people, we haven't actually said, what do we want? Realistically, we're not getting 40 acres and a mule.
No, we're not.
Getting that.
We're not going to get 40 acres and a mule.
So realistically, I mean, when you look at, from the LGBT, I hope I'm saying
LGBTQ.
Yeah. When you look at that community, when you look at Jewish communities, when you look at everybody, they really walked in with a plan. They walked in and came to the table, and they had a list. This is what we want. This is how we want. And that's something that black people have never really done. We haven't came and really said, boom, this is what we want. We just said, stop killing us. Well, I mean, you got to say more than that. Give us jobs. You got to say more than that.
Right.
So that's what, now
there has to be an agenda, a set agenda.
So now that the doors open a little bit more, we have to actually walk in now and say, this is what we want.
I agree with you on that. Because I was just like having heartburn all week of all these businesses that are jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, well, let me write a check. Let me write a check. Realizing that if we as the black community got together and just said, we're not spending our money with certain businesses, the impact that could bring upon a person's business, you could really do some damage if every black person got on the bandwagon. Can you imagine if we picked a day and just said, we're not going to order Amazon? What? Steve Bezos would probably go into a tizzy.
It's not going to happen now.
But I know it's not going to happen. But
I mean, you have to look, during the quarantine, the Asian-owned beauty supply shops were closed. Women hair looking a mess.
Yes, Jesus. Fix it, Lord.
But during that time, instead of saying what's another solution, they just put a wig on or a hat or something like that. And
we made it work.
And then, but soon as the shops were open, immediately went back to these places. I think during that time, like, where was someone to say, you know what, these Asian, and no diss at all to Asian if this is not what it is, but the Asians have come in our community, opened up these type of stores. And how many of them do you see sponsor a football team? Or how many of them do you see really like come out in the community and embrace us? A lot of ones in the neighborhoods, they got dirty parking lots, you know what I'm saying, things like that. They come in and kind of make their money and they kind of leave. So during the time that we were in quarantine and the ladies weren't getting their hair done and things of that, why not come up with another solution so that as soon as the doors open, you don't have to go right back to rely on them? So.
Well, I think that During the quarantine, I referred to it as a think tank moment because it gave a lot of people the opportunity to think about some things, to do some things differently. And it gave birth to a lot of different businesses.
Oh yeah.
So we're probably getting ready to see a big increase in entrepreneurship from the black community from the pandemic.
Yeah, a lot of millionaires are made during the crisis.
Exactly. I mean, Madam C.J. Walker, she created her product during a pandemic.
Yeah.
So millionaires, as you stated, are created out of crisis. And that is what we're getting ready to start experiencing on a big scale.
Right. I was like, for me, before I was able to lock this one spot in, there was another spot actually on Illinois that I was looking at. I was really, really pressed to try to be in an area, a vibrant retail area of black businesses.
And that area is thriving. That 7 Mile, Illinois,
Yeah.
the Avenue of Fashion area.
Yeah.
So now that they have rebuilt that whole area up, I expect that that whole section is going to be booming with
Yeah. I mean,
vibrant business.
Yeah. I mean, we need that. I mean, it's just I've always been real big on how it's hard for a black business to go in certain communities and thrive, but it's easier for another race or ethnic group to come into the black community and they can make all the money they want. You know, there's no back and forth. You know what I'm saying? We willingly spend our money with other groups, but other groups don't spend their money with us.
And that's why we have to embrace our own and support byproducts from each other and put good words out there for each other. So give everybody your contact information, how they can reach you, the address of Laurel Park Place Mall so they can come and support you, and then also the future address of Motorcity Popcorn in Detroit.
Well, like I say, this here, what you see is one example. This is what I say is the number 2 seller, which is the 8 Mile mix, which is white cheddar and caramel. The number one flavor rather is the Motor City mix. I don't want to call it Chicago blend. I forbid employees to even say the word Chicago, you know. But that's cheese and caramel. But right now I'm located in Laurel Park Mall, which is 37700 6 Mile. 6 Mile in Newburgh, in Livonia. And like I say, I'll be open for a minute for walk-up traffic, but really once we start construction on a new area, I'll just be in and out. And so it's just best to place an order, you know, say, you know, if you need product, things of that. But we do sell our product in several stores: Holiday Market in Royal Oak, Jermac and Eastern Market, 3 stores inside of Detroit Metro Airport. Lana's Bake Shop, which is a big supporter, has 3 locations. They're actually on Illinois now, south of 7 Mile, between 7 and 6. Inside the Bucharest on Jefferson downtown, and they have a shop on 8 Mile in Southfield, another black-owned business. And they may have a 4th.
Okay. So you've been doing some collaborations, which is great.
Yeah. So we got Crafted Modern Handmade in Belleville, another black-owned business, and I've got a few phone calls in the last week of people that want to carry the product as well too. So we should have it in more stores soon. And like I said, the future spot, it's going to be on 7 Mile. I'll make some more announcements soon, but let's just say it's right in the area of 7 and Illinois.
Awesome.
So if you're at 7 and Illinois, if you're on the corner of 7 and Illinois, you should be able to see it. I'll say that.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So I look forward to coming out to Laurel Park. I'm going to make it my business to be out there sometime next week and check you out and pick up a couple bags, and definitely will commit to coming over to 7 Mile in Illinois when you open. And you're more than welcome to come back here. on the Let's Fix It with Chenauda show or any of our the marketplace, I'm certain Linda may welcome you onto her show on Saturday mornings. She does entrepreneurs as well. But we love to embrace entrepreneurs because it shows you that he is definitely walking in the talents and the gifts that God has given him and made his vision come to fruition. And that is so prevalent that we have people such as yourself in our community being an example of showing our youth of what could possibly be. I always think about that little kid that has that lemonade stand. They want to be able to be an entrepreneur and make money. So this is definitely an opportunity to give that little person, that younger person, a gleam of hope that anything is possible with a dream. So as we begin to close out the show, you guys know that I always talk about financial matters, and this has definitely been an eye-opening experience for me with the Black Lives Matter. I want to definitely give you my phone number, 734-752-8818. And then you can follow me on Facebook at Chenauda M. Harris, and my Instagram is Chenauda. And my email is letsfixitwithchenauda@gmail.com, and my website is www.chenaudaharris.com. And you know that I am really on a mission this year to help 500 families that want to purchase a home, own a car, or just change the financial trajectory of their financial situation and to get them in a better financial outlook for 2020. So that is very well possible, and I look forward to being of service to you guys. Definitely, we want to start making changes in our community. And one thing that I did mention, that we have to start putting people in place in our communities that's going to be able to make decisions that's going to impact our community. And on August 4th, there is a primary election here in the state of Michigan. So I urge you, if you have not registered to vote, go to the Secretary of State's office, which is now open, and register to vote. And definitely go cast your vote on April the 4th. This is how we start bringing about change and grooming leaders that are able to put in rules and regulations to help implement change. So that is where we need to start. The protests are great. Keep on protesting, but keep on protesting peacefully. And as I stated earlier in the show, I'm super proud of the peaceful protests that we've had around the country and the peaceful protests that we're having here in Michigan. And just know that it's not just Black people orchestrating these marches, these protests. They're not. As I drove through the city of Royal Oak, you had people of all different nationalities gathered together for the Black Lives Matter. Same thing in Oak Park. You had people of various races that are demonstrating for the Black Lives Matter. So we can band together because we all got to live here together, you guys. This movement is way bigger than what a lot of people think it is. And we just have to continuously push the agenda and push for change. That's the only way that it's going to happen, because as you see, our leadership, or lack thereof, in the White House is truly not for justice. He's for justice for select people. So as I close, I want to leave you with a quote. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Dr. Martin Luther King. And also, as we continue to groom others, we've got to think about the Jesse Jacksons of the world, the Al Sharptons of the world, as they have graced us for so many years with their leadership in various organizations. It's time for other leaders to step out there and be the the heads and start being in control of leading the movement and changing the movement so that change is implemented and put in place, and that this whole thing can be put in perspective the way it should be, and that we are not having situations as the George Floyd situation that we have encountered. So with that being said, understand something. Action changes things, and we have to bring about those actions to make those changes come. So until God says the same, till next week, have a great week.
You are listening to Worship Radio International, the world's #1 online Christian radio station. Check out our website at www.worshipradio.faith or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Worship Radio INT. This is the future.